What's good with y'all? It's your boy Papa Evil, and I figured I would just start making YouTube videos on my downtime because this post-graduation job search it's a bit rough, but we ain't talking about that right now. Anyway, this is going to be 2021 Green Bay Packers season preview. Of course, this video is going to come out like the day of the freaking season starting, so A+ timing by me. But anyways, if you couldn't tell, I'm obviously a Packers fan. Been one for a long time. It's had its ups and downs. Of course, when I say that, I mean it's been one up and a whole bunch of downs. We ain't talking about that right now. Anyway, I just want to give a quick little recap of how last season started and then go into the offseason and then what I think about how this season's going to go. So like most seasons as a Packers fan, it was pretty fun for the most part. You know, it began with a lot of hope and optimism. Then through the middle part, there was a lot of belief and confidence in the team. And of course, it ended with disappointment, regret, and heartbreak. We finished 13-3 for the second year in a row under Matt LaFleur. Aaron Rodgers had an MVP season, only 48 tutties to only 5 interceptions. Devontae Adams was an All-Pro year, 1,300 receiving yards, 18 touchdowns. Broke the receptions record for the Packers and tied the touchdown record. Aaron Jones, not quite as good in 2019, but still productive. We had the top 10 rushing attack. We had the top 1 offense. On the defensive side of the ball, Jair Alexander established himself as an all-pro corner. Zadarius Smith and Kenny Clark had elite seasons on the defensive line. Kevin King was also there. Get the number 1 seed in the NFC, which we've been clamoring for ever since he won the Super Bowl. That's why we're losing all these NFC Championship games, because we have to go on the road and get smacked up by these superior teams. But we got that number 1 seed. We got that home field advantage, which means the road to the Super Bowl would have to go through the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. But Kevin King obviously had other ideas, the absolute scrub. What I meant to say was that the Packers would eventually fall short in the NFC Championship game to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, 31-26. And there was a crucial play in that game that happened just before halftime. Tampa Bay had the ball up 14-10, 8 seconds left to go in the half, with no timeouts. And in that situation, as a defense, you just think, all right, stay back, tackle them in bounds, clock runs out, we hit the locker room for halftime. But on that play, unfortunately, esteemed Packers cornerback Kevin King was playing back a bit, but he still allowed Scotty Miller of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to zoom right on past him. Brady found him perfectly over the top. Miller caught the touchdown pass, and Tampa Bay went in the locker room up 21-10 instead of 14-10. A huge play in the game, and considering that we just lost by 5, you have to wonder how the game would have turned out if such a mental error from King didn't occur. But apparently you're not supposed to linger on things like that. It's funny because I used to make fun of my friends who were fans of AFC teams for so long that Tom Brady would just kick their butts year after year after year and just waltz his way on to the Super Bowl. Only for him to come to my conference and immediately beat my team and win a Super Bowl in 1 year. I'm not hurt. So that was the season done. And then came the offseason. Boy, was that a doozy. Obviously, the big thing that happened in the offseason, not just with the Packers, but like in the whole NFL, was the Aaron Rodgers drama. So a quick recap on that. After the NFC Championship game loss, Aaron Rodgers basically came out and said that his future was kind of uncertain with the team, which, it's not that surprising because it fit in with Aaron Rodgers' whole theme about, staying in the moment and, just appreciating life, like this whole mindset that he had developed for the season. And it's like, you don't really want to look too forward in the future. Like, this season just ended and you're already looking ahead, just stay put, stay in the moment, stay chill with it. And then, so I don't really blame him for what he said. And then, the offseason came. It was, the standard talking points like, oh, could the Packers do more? The Packers regret not drafting Jordan Love. La da 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 da. Oh, the Packers disrespect Aaron Rodgers, all that. So, there wasn't that much fear of Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay. He still had 3 years left on the contract that he signed a few years ago. It was all cool. And then, on the night of the draft, Adam Schefter comes out with this bombshell saying that Aaron Rodgers is so unhappy with the organization that he doesn't want to come back, which sent shockwaves through the sports world. It threw me for a loop. I just came out of class and I'm seeing Aaron Rodgers trending. I'm like, for what? It's draft night. People are joking that we're going to draft another quarterback or something. No. And I'm seeing Adam Schefter's tweet and I'm just hyperventilating. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? It's not April Fool's, is it? And it wasn't April Fool's. It was a real tweet, and everything was going crazy. And essentially the whole consensus was like, oh, you see, Packers should have treated Aaron Rodgers better, we shouldn't have drafted Jordan Love in the first round last year after making the NFC Championship game. Maybe get the guy some receivers, which are valid points. There are valid criticisms and things like of that nature for that situation. Like, the Packers firing his quarterback coach without letting him know, releasing Jake Kumaro, which apparently Rodgers liked a lot last year, just letting him go for the Bills. And, just a lot of things that the Packers organization have done that Aaron Rodgers could perceive as a slight. And I'm just getting bouts of deja vu. Like, oh my goodness, it's 2008 all over again. We got a Hall of Fame quarterback that's disgruntled with the organization, kind of just wants to leave. And I'm just like, all right, Aaron Rodgers, just come out and do it. I don't want to rely on this Adam Schefter tweet. But Aaron Rodgers was staying cryptic. He just wasn't saying anything. He was just going about his business, acting like nothing was really happening. Just chilling. So then the trade rumors come out. Oh, is Aaron Rodgers going to go? Is he going to go to the Broncos? Is he going to go to the 49ers? Is he going to go to the Raiders? Like, it was all just happening, and Aaron Rodgers was just chilling. Meanwhile, the Packers faithful, we're just like panicking. Like, bro, we just went to 2 NFC Championship games. We just lost it. If we lose our starting quarterback, we have not been rebuilding for the most part. Yeah, we got Jordan Love winning the wings, but he didn't play at all in the preseason last year because there was no preseason last year. Thank you, COVID. So it's just like, it was stress. It was stress. So about a month after that craziness, OTAs start, and Rodgers doesn't show up, which is understandable. OTAs are voluntary after all. They're mainly just for rookies and second-year players to really come in and establish themselves before the season. But then, mandatory minicamps start. Keyword, mandatory. And Rodgers doesn't show. Right? That same weekend, there's pictures coming out of him just on vacation with his Pretty Little Liars fiance. Just chilling, like he doesn't have a football season to prepare for. Matter of fact, the whole offseason, dude was just chilling, bruh. Like, he was hosting episodes of Jeopardy. He went to the Kentucky Derby. He was cutting up with Tom Brady at golf tournaments. Like, man was our franchise QB, and he was acting like he completed the game, was just doing side quests. Meanwhile, us Packers fans are out here struggling, stressing, not even knowing if he was going to come back to play next year. Like, and it's like he didn't even care. He was just chilling, just doing whatever. We was just stressed the heck out. Finally, after all that hoopla, Aaron Rodgers reported back to training camp. So then, for his first day back, he basically has this tell-all press conference where he details everything that happened in the offseason, how everything started, and it was essentially a case of him just not really being respected by the organization. Like him essentially being a lame duck quarterback, how after the 2022 season, for that offseason, they could have really just traded him or released him to be under the cap, and he would have had no control as to where to go for the next season. So it's a case of them not really committing to him long-term past the 2022 season because they've obviously got this quarterback that they drafted in Jordan Love waiting behind the wings. And as a future Hall of Fame quarterback, you definitely deserve to be able to control your own destiny. And I especially liked in the press conference that he detailed it really wasn't about the money. Like, the Packers front office came out and said, oh, well, we offered him a bunch of money and he, rejected to kind of, make Rodgers, look bad and make him look greedy, that, he wanted more money and things like that. But in the press conference, he detailed that it wasn't about the money. It was about how the organization has treated him over all these years. And he got into how he wanted to be involved in discussions about, free agents coming in and how he didn't like how the organization let go of some free agents like Charles Woodson and Julius Peppers and things of that nature. So he was calm, composed, eloquent. It was a great press conference, 30 minutes long. I couldn't possibly cover all of it, but the main thing to take away is that Aaron Rodgers was back for at least one more year. And all those problems that he laid out in the press conference, they have at the very least been pushed back to next offseason. And as far as I'm concerned, he could have said whatever in that press conference. I was happy. As long as Aaron Rodgers is slinging the rock in green and gold this fall, I was going to be a happy guy. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers saga was finally over, at least for another season. Next offseason, who knows? Maybe he'll be traded. But for now, this offseason drama's over, and our boy was home. So 2 of our biggest losses this offseason came with Jamal Williams, our backup running back, and Corey Linsley, our all-pro center, went to the Chargers. Jamal Williams went to the Lions. Those are pretty big losses. Obviously, when you lose your center, that's the guy that touches the ball in every possession. That's obviously tough, but we drafted a center, Josh Myers, out of Ohio State, to fill in that hole. And with Jamal Williams, we got our second-year running back A.J. Dillon coming in, who's pretty much a bruiser. So we can have the production of A. Jones being the dynamic running back out the backfield, and A.J. Dillon could just kind of, pound the rock, but do it better than Jamal Williams could. So it's a net positive in the end for me, as far as I'm concerned. So I would say we had a pretty solid draft this year. Our first round pick was Eric Stokes, a cornerback out of Georgia. Now, I'm going to level with you guys. I don't really watch a lot of college football like that. My expertise on these college players, essentially stems from when the combine starts in late January to, draft night. I don't watch any of their season, really. That's, the only time I've ever watched college game footage. So from what I've seen and what I've looked at Eric Stokes, he's pretty fast. He's excellent in press coverage, which Green Bay loves to run. And if you draft him in the first round, he's got to be an elite corner. And my goodness gracious, Green Bay has spent a lot of first and second round picks on corners over the last few years. It's getting ridiculous. Jair Alexander, Josh Jackson, King, Eric Stokes, Clinton Dix, and so many more. If we don't end up with the Legion of Boom at this rate, I'll be a bit disappointed, because this is getting ridiculous. Come on. Anyway, I've heard a lot of stuff being read about Eric Stokes in camp. He's obviously practicing with Aaron Rodgers and being lined up against Davante Adams each day in practice. He's also alongside Jair Alexander, an all-pro corner on the other side. So I think he's in good hands, and hopefully he should be able to realize his potential. And, you've got a pretty good fleshed out secondary over there. There'll be a lot of competition on the cornerback spots. So this should be fun. Competition should bring out the best out of all those players so that nobody will be getting beat deep with 8 seconds to go in the NFC Championship game. Moving on from that, we got Josh Myers, the center out of Ohio State. So he'll replace Corey Linsley, who left this offseason. Even if he doesn't pan out, we got Elton Jenkins, our guard, who also plays center. So he should be pretty good at the center spot. If you're drafting a center in the second round, he should be pretty good. I'm not going to go look up center highlights for RSU. I'm sorry. I'm not that pressed. I'm just not. But Josh, good luck and welcome to Green Bay. Our third round pick was Aaron Rodgers, a wide receiver out of Clemson. From what I saw, he's a good slot receiver, can make guys miss in the open field, has pretty good hands, can catch it all right in traffic. He should be a valuable asset to have, given that we don't really have a dangerous slot receiver like that. He's more of a Randall Cobb type, who we obviously lost a few years ago, with Davante Adams and Allen Lazard and MVS more, stretching the field towards the sidelines. Somebody can be working intermediates, working with tight end Robert Tonyan in through the slot, keeping those linebackers guessing, could really open the offense up. So I feel like it's a pretty good draft pick. And considering that we actually re-signed Randall Cobb this year, my boy is back, thank God. He can really learn off of Randall Cobb, because he'll essentially be doing what Randall Cobb was doing for 8 whole years in Green Bay. So just an excellent mentor for Aaron Rodgers to have. It'll probably take him a little while to get acclimated with Aaron Rodgers, because with him, it takes him a year or two to kind of really trust you and go at you consistently and know that you can make that play. It took 2 years for MVS, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, to earn his trust. So it'll probably take him a little while too. But if Randall Cobb's helping him, then Amari should be all right. This should be a pretty good pick for us for sure. In the later rounds, we got Shamar Jean-Charles, another cornerback out of Appalachian State, so to really fill out that cornerback room. And notably, Isaiah McDuffie, an inside linebacker out of Boston College. Now, hopefully, I'm really hoping this guy's a late-round gem. He seems to be a tackling machine, so he can be like another Jake Ryan. Linebacking core is kind of the weakest part of our defense. We got a pretty good pass rush with the Smith brothers and Kenny Clark on the interior, and we obviously got a filled-up defensive back room, even with the safeties Adrian Amos and nickel corners like Chandon Sullivan. We got guys all over the defensive back. We got guys on the D-line, but just that middle of the defense is not that strong. When running backs and receivers tend to get to that second level, it spells trouble. So hopefully this Isaiah McDuffie guy can really clean stuff up. He gets a lot of tackles. Apparently doesn't impact that much on the passing game, but hopefully we can coach him better on that. Since he's an inside linebacker, he'll be more of a quarterback for the defense. Essentially just be another Jake Ryan. So hopefully he's a late-round gem for us. Yeah, going into the regular season, I think we'll finish 12-5, 13-4. Hate that they added an extra game. 17 games. It's disgusting. But yeah, that's where I see us finishing. Probably second or third seed behind Tampa Bay, of course, and probably the LA Rams will finish ahead of us in the seedings. Only losses I really see is at 49ers at week 3. That'll be a tough game if they're fully healthy. We've kind of always had problems with them in the past, so that could probably beat us. I can see a loss against Arizona on the road. A loss to KC. Those will be 2 tough games. And a loss at Baltimore. Those are all really tough games against playoff teams. Could go either way. We could conceivably lose them. We'll probably lose one game in the division because fine. I'm just feeling nice. So maybe lost to Minnesota. So there's really our potential 5 losses. But other than that, we got a really talented team. We're bringing back most of the same team that came last year, which was pretty dominant on both sides of the ball. Got all the way to the NFC Championship game. Was a score away from getting to the Super Bowls. And we should be a good team again this year. Hopefully we'll be extra motivated. It could possibly be Aaron Rodgers' last year, the last dance, as they posted on freaking Instagram. So, yeah, it should be a fun year. You know, the optimist in me, the absolute, completely 100% deluded Go Pack Go super fan is like, we're going to blitz everybody. We're going to get revenge on San Fran for 2 years ago. We're going to get revenge in Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game, beat them, and then go on and beat the Bills and the Browns in the Super Bowl or whatever. But the realist in me says we weren't better than Tampa Bay last year, and we're definitely not better than them this year. So we probably lose to them in the NFC Championship game or the divisional round. Fingers crossed that nonsense doesn't happen, and that we bring the Vince Lombardi Trophy home. That's what we're praying for. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. This is more like a off-season review rather than a season preview, so to speak. I'm not changing the title, sue me. Anyway, like and subscribe. I should be coming up with more content later on this week. I have other sports teams other than the Packers, and even other interests that aren't sports. As hard as it could be for some people to believe. So I should be coming up with at least one more video coming up this week, so stay tuned for that. This should be a fun season, man. All NFL seasons are fun. I love football so much. This should be fun, though. Hope you all enjoy it. Comment down below who your team is, how you think your team's going to do this season. And, yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed, and catch y'all on the flip. Peace.